everyone, happy new year. It's 2025. I hope that you have set some realistic goals that you will be actively working on to achieve. So I hope that at the end of 2025, when you look back, you can be very pleased with yourself that you will have done all the work, all that you can to achieve the things that you so desire to achieve. For my Butterstars family, I decided to do a sit and chit chat type of video with you guys because this is a video that is long in coming. It should have been done a very long time ago, and I feel like now more than ever I should do this video. It's gonna be a two-part series actually. The first video, which will be this video, I will basically be formally introducing myself. You see why I said that this should have been done a long time ago? It's because it should have been done a long time ago. So I will be formally introducing myself and going a little bit into the reason why I do what I do. And in the subsequent video, I will discuss a little bit more about Butterstars, the products, the services, and what you can expect of the brand going forward. Let's get into it. So you may have seen Butterstars before. You may have even purchased a product or used our services before. Some of you may have learned of the brand either from social media or from another customer or from somebody on our team, right? A lot of you may not have seen me before, or maybe if you've seen me before, you may not even know my name. So this is the purpose of this video. Yeah, so officially, I am Rayanne. You can call me Ray. And I am the very, very proud owner of Butterstars Food Company. Like I said, I want to do a little bit of a story time to tell you how we got to this point. I feel like it is absolutely necessary for me to take you all the way back to the beginning. And for me, or for the purpose of this video, that would be back to my first day of secondary school. So like I said, it's the first day of school. I don't know anybody. Well, maybe one or two person, but that's besides the point. I certainly did not know the form teacher. So she comes into the class. She stands at the front, obviously, and she introduced herself. And in an attempt, I guess, to get to know her students, her new students, she asked every person to stand and introduce themselves by stating what their name is and what you wanted to be when you graduated from school. Or what she started at the front of the class. That wouldn't be me because I I always would go to the back of the class. We got some really great occupations that persons were aspiring to be. We had who wanted to be a police, who wanted to be a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, whatnot. Great answers. Now it's my turn. My turn, I stand up and I state my name. I'm Rayanne, and what I told her, I wanted to be I think it was a business owner. No, I told her that I wanted to manage a business. Manage a business? Yeah, something like that. I wanted to manage. It was something very vague. Nevertheless, as I was about to sit, she's like, okay, Stan, what kind of business? When you say management, what do you mean? What do you mean? So I stood up and I was like, well, miss, I want to manage my own business. I want to be a business owner. And again, as I'm about to sit, she interrupts me again and she's like, well, what kind of business do you want to get into? Honestly, I didn't have an answer for her. I didn't know what kind of business that I wanted to do. I don't even think I thought about that prior to that day. Yeah, but when I told her, you know, I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that in my heart of hearts, I want to own a business one day. She was like, okay, well, you have time to figure it out, whatnot and whatnot. So, um, I took my seat. But that experience stayed with me because, in my opinion, it was quite a defining moment because it really did stir up in me, Ray, what do you want to do with yourself when you leave school? Now, fast forwarding to Form 5, wrote CXC, did well, and I didn't go looking for what some might call a summer job. I didn't go looking for work. What I did instead was start my first enterprise. Now, if you know me, this might really bring back some memories because the very very first business that I did was to sell punch. So from my mother's kitchen, I would blend all types of punch, homemade punch. There's the milk punch, yeah, so like peanut punch, sour sub, barbadine, and then I got really I was inspired to do all types of mixes. So I would come up with all these flavors that I think would pair well, and I would create what some people would call bombs. Yeah, so I would create these different bombs, punch bombs, and I would put it out there, and they would do well. So that business was actually doing pretty well, but circumstances, I had to close that business down. Yeah, I actually went back to school. I also, whilst doing school, I would have gotten a job as a teacher's assistant with OGT. So now that I had work, actual work and an income, and I'm getting a feel of what it means to be a career woman. The idea of owning my business never left my mind. It never left my heart. God, it's something that I just had to do. I just had to do it. So, what I did next was inspired by my passion to have a business. So I would save my money. The I was a teacher's assistant. The pay wasn't great because, like I said, it was OGT. But I would save how much I can, and eventually I saved enough that I could afford the best, the best barbecue grill that I could buy. Yes, I bought a grill, and let me tell you something. Yeah? Even though I had a job and I was living a good distance from the main road, nothing was stopping me from pushing my grill. Thank God for wheels. Nothing would stop me from pushing my grill from inside the street to the main road after work, by the way. I would push that thing straight out to the main road. Um, and I would have like my seasoned chicken, pork, lamb, whatever I was doing because your girl always like to offer different types of specials. So I would have not just one meat, I would do like a variety. I like to give people options. So I would have chicken, pork, lamb, fish, you name it. May not be everything every day, but the point is you had options. And I also had like my cracker, and I would set up where I was selling the barbecue. I had to set up and break down the site every day. That in and of itself was a challenge. But like I said, the passion that I had for owning my business, the pride that I felt for owning my own business would propel and give me the strength to do what I needed to do. I'm not discounting the help that I had because I did have help um, from relatives and whatnot in with the setting up and the breaking down. But the point is, if I didn't show up, nothing would be done, right? So, like I said, we would sell every afternoon, 3, 4, 5 days for the week, depending on how the week was going. And sometimes that would run at the like a day work would or evening work rather would carry me straight down into the night, sometimes into the wee hours of the morning. Especially depending on the season, because like if it's carnival or sometime I would set up waiting for like the party goers and the persons coming from the fete to sell them some food. But again, the passion, the zeal that I had gave me the strength that I needed to continue on with that business, break down, clean up, go to bed, get up, go to work the next day, and do it again the next business day. So that went on for some years, and it seemed like every single time the business started to pick up a certain momentum, something would happen that would cause me to now have to close down the business. So over the course of a couple years, maybe 5 or more years, I would start businesses, close businesses down, start up a next one, close down a next one. So I had several businesses under my belt for some time, right? What I would like to say, however, is that every business that I opened, I would open it in somebody else's name. So, like my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, he has a nickname that I would have opened a business under his name. And in my opinion, he's more popular than me. And so if I put his name, if I slap his name on the name of the business, the business would be more far reaching. Um, I would open the business and I would try to sell business, like my products or my services using the fame of my parents, because my parents as well are well known, especially when it comes to food. And so I would try to sell myself or sell my product or sell my brand using, their name, basically. And you know what? It never felt right. Not just because it was my parents or because it was my husband or anything like that. It didn't feel right because I would always try to use somebody else's weight to carry my business. And I don't know if for that reason why those businesses would have failed. Yeah. But I had to make up my mind, like, you know what? This is your vision. I strongly believe that this is what God has placed in my hand to do, in my heart to do. And so I couldn't continue to use other people's names and other people's um, character to try to make a name for myself. Is either I was all the way in it or just do what everybody else was doing, get a job and move on with my life. But because my heart was so much involved, or I had that desire so badly to have a business. I was like, you know what, Ray, you need to really structure this thing. And because it is your vision, you need to represent yourself. Yeah. So I decided now to sit down with myself, sit down with my thoughts, sit down with my um with my desires basically, and structure the thing. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? And so I put pen to paper, and I it wasn't a brainstorm session because there was no one else besides me and my God, but I had to make up my mind about what I wanted to accomplish through business using the gifts and the talents that God gave me. And so Butterstars was born. Butterstars was birthed. Now, to give you a glimpse of my childhood, I want to take you just a little bit further back than my first day of school, secondary school, that is. As a child, a very young child, I was that person who would ride bikes and play drafts, and what else did I do? Oh God, practical jokes, and that spirit still on me. That practical joking thing, I love it. But yeah, I was that child who would be outside and doing the most. But I was also that child who would find herself in the kitchen experimenting with flavors and textures and color and trying to come up with recipes and all of these things. I was just that person. If memory serves me well, I I cooked my first meal, which, if I'm not mistaken, it was either okra. I think it was okra rice because I remember it being too slimy and like real white, no color. Yeah, so I cooked my first meal when I was about 9 or 10, and even though to to everybody else it wasn't the best, to me it was the best. Yeah, and I would have learned. I continue to like I say, just continue to carry out my passion because that is where my passion, it lie. And I continue cooking and getting better, and continue to experiment with flavors and whatnot. And it is no wonder that I would have created a brand that is centered on my passion for food. I created Butterstars, and let me tell you something. When it comes to Butterstars, I am not out here trying to push anybody in front of me. The days for that gone. This is my brand. This is the brand that I created. This is the brand that I know will leave a legacy. This is the brand that I consider to be my baby. So, like I said, this is why it was so necessary, I feel like, for me to come finally and introduce myself. It is very fitting, this video, in my opinion. Now, there will be a subsequent video coming out where I talk a little bit more about the brand itself. I am asking that you guys stay tuned for that video. This video, on the other hand, will be posted across all of my social media, including YouTube. I am asking that you support me, that you support my business by following my business pages, which I will put on the screen, and also to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is called Ray and a Recipe. There I will have more content. I created that page specifically, that YouTube channel specifically for my Butterstars family, because a lot of persons would buy the products like the croissants and the bread and whatnot, and they would ask me for ideas like, Ray, what I can do with this, what can I do with that? And because I'm such a family person, and I do consider my Butterstars family to be an extension of my family, I want to be, if I'm younger than you, like your little sister, the one who could cook, who could share a recipe here and there with you. The recipes that I use in my daily living to feed my family, I would like to share my recipes with you guys so that you can create wonderful meals and memories for your family as well. So I'm asking that you follow my YouTube channel called Ray Anna Recipe so that you can get such content. Yeah. Again, look out for part 2 of this series where I will be discussing and diving a little bit more into the brand that is Butterstars, and tell you where we've come from, where we are going, what you can expect from the brand, and so forth. So I thank you so much for watching this video, especially if you have made it this far, and look out for part 2.